Well, continuing with the study of the institution that it did not consolidated, part number 5, it corresponds now to continue advancing so that we can have a much clearer view of the problem of the institution and what factors contributed or coincided for us to have this religious confusion and this deceit nowadays. We will make a little question in the study so that we can continue outlining the idea of this situation. The question is the following. How many of you have heard the following phrase, Maranatha, which is composed of two words, Maran Atha, Greek for the Aramaic, which means the Lord comes, used by Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 16 verse 22, and that was popularized among the believers of the first century, and that has reached us to this very day. But few know that Paul diverted from the right path regarding this matter, because no one had him predicting when the merciful Jesus the Messiah will return to the earth. We are all compelled to know and to respect the decisions of the true and only God, but regretfully Paul didn't do it, but exceeded his position and deceived the believers of the first century, and that deception continues until today. So it is our duty to establish a reference point to unmask such a lie, because this issue of the coming of Jesus the Messiah is a very controversial affair. It is so controversial that history collects a series of painful, shameful and sad movements. It is something that causes shame and is very complicated, because many people have given and continue to give themselves until nowadays the task of predicting when Jesus the Messiah will return to the earth. So imagine, to begin with, that Paul was one of the first ones to be announcing that the coming of Jesus the Messiah was near. We are talking of the first century, right? So imagine yourselves how many centuries have already passed and the coming of the Messiah has not happened. Not because it is not meant to happen, but because, first of all, we have a God of order, right? Second, because there is already a revelation. For that purpose there exists the book of Apocalypse. And third, because it will not be when it occurs to people, because people are very witty, and after Paul, well, throughout history, a lot of stories are collected of people that entered this particular problem. So the Lord is coming, sure he is. What we cannot put to the phrase is a date. We can say Maranatha, the Lord comes. Sure he comes. That is inexorable, unavoidable, and we are joyful and happy because he is coming again to the earth to put order to all of us. To all of us. All of us. We need the Messiah. It's something elemental, fundamental. It's a requirement that we have on a daily basis. We won't like what he has to say to us. We won't agree with it, but we need him, because without him life has no sense. But from this to say that he is coming with the strength that tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, next month, next year, that is not correct. And why it is not correct? Because God doesn't have us investigating when Jesus the Messiah will appear. But regretfully, most people have nowadays a double speech. Remember a long time ago that someone was speaking to a person who was a Christian. They had a debate because one of them said that he was just a believer, not a Christian, and the other wouldn't agree on that. So they began a debate, and in the debate this subject of the soon coming of Jesus the Messiah appeared. For us it is the next coming of the Messiah. So this person said that he believed in the rapture, a subject that we consider should be put as a theme of discussion, should be debated, questioned to find the truth, that it's valid. So in the discussion he said that he was waiting the coming of Jesus Christ, as he called him, and that he will be taken. So being that the logic walks alone by itself, that made the other person to make a series of valid questionings, and among the questionings made him an offer. First, ask him, "You say that Jesus the Messiah is coming. Maranatha," he said to him. "He is coming." Because the expression Maranatha means the Lord comes. It doesn't put a term, but it is a slogan that one has to have, that the Lord comes. Because that is the truth, he comes. What you cannot put to the word Maranatha is now. But in the discussion, in the conversation that they had, as said before, one of them made a series of questionings. So he said, "Well, go ahead and ask." And the other said to him in a naive way, "You have a house." "Yes, do have a house," he said. "Ah, very good. Do you have a car?" "Yes, do have a car," he said. "Good. Do you have bank accounts?" "Yes, of course, do have bank accounts." "Very good. And you maintain that Jesus the Messiah is coming?" "Yes, he is. Now he's coming." And said to him, "And you're going to be taken in the rapture?" "Of course they are going to take me in the rapture," he said. "I'm going with the Lord." "Ah, very good," said to him. "Well, since you're about to go, while the other said that he wanted to stay, do you agree to transfer your house, your car," he said, "and to make him beneficiary of his banking accounts?" You are not going to believe what happened. He stared at the other person as if he was looking at a bug, and he felt offended, affected, and said, "What is happening to you? Why are you asking these things to me?" And the other said to him calmly, "Because you are leaving, so if you are leaving you won't need nothing of this. Those of us who are staying will keep needing it until the Messiah comes. But if you leave, there you won't need a house, nor car, nor banking accounts." He said it to make him see that it didn't make any sense what he said. The other felt very offended. So that is the double speech that most people have. You're going to see the religious groups that say that the Lord is coming, but have terrible construction of buildings, extraordinary banking accounts, properties to throw to the air, are owners of luxury and opulent houses, have big banking accounts, have a lot of cars, and we could keep telling the inventory of all what they have. And the 1 million question is, why do they want it for, if they are leaving? So at the end, we have to arrive to a truth. And this truth is that one thing is what it is being said, and the other thing it is what is done. One totally far away from the other. That is why you have to think, analyze, and question in what you are into, and if the place in which you are is the correct one, and if it is valid, what is being preached or what it is being taught. If you discover by the grace of God that you have been in the incorrect path, we beg you, we ask you, go away from the place, because it is not possible that the truth is reaching you and you do not take decisions in regard. That is not correct. The Church of God invites you to reflect and to decide to take a totally different path, away from religion, and to return to the ancient faith, which was stained, corrupted, and abused, and that this continues until nowadays. We hope that with the proper reflections you take the correct decision. The Church of God invites you to visit its webpage, and the address is churchofgod.tk. There you can find some studies by email that you can ask for them, so that you can study with us. There is also some information some messages that can be useful to you, and you can also find the links of the Facebook pages so that you can join these web pages. Also, the church puts to your disposition an email so that you can write to us, so that you can raise your questions, your doubts, even so that you can share with us your criteria or your questionings. And in the measure of the possibility, we will be looking at them. And if there is an answer to be given to you, we will gladly do it. The email is thelastchurch77 in number, okay, gmail.com. It is important to put to your disposition this means of communication and to continue with the study of the institution that did not consolidated, which we are seeing the number 5. We are glad for the attention given. Thank you very much.